Hi friends, welcome to Learner Ansari Java tutorial. In this session, we are going to learn what is a variable. The variable is nothing but is a named memory location. If you have a memory space, if you have named to a memory, then the particular named memory location is known as a variable. Let us understand the variable in real time. For example, here in my computer, I have a C variable and D variable. This both C and D can be considered as an example for a variable because 199 GB of memory space has been named as C, and here 265 GB of memory space has been named as D. The name alone is not a variable, and the memory space is not alone a variable. The named entire the name and the memory location, the named memory location is known as a variable. So we can take an example of variable both C and D. Likewise, we can consider the named pen drive. The pen drive is a memory location. Only the memory location is not a variable. If we have given any name to a pen drive, then that pen drive is also an example of a variable. So in Java, you can create a memory location with a name. So that is what called as a variable. So when we are creating a variable in Java, we have to mention the type of data that we are going to store inside the variable. So creating a variable is nothing but allocating a memory with a name. So when you are allocating a memory with a name in Java, you have to mention the type of data that you are going to store inside the variable. So there are 8 types of data in Java. So that is called as a data types. So there are eight primitive data types are available in Java. That is Boolean. Boolean is 1 bit, and when you are creating a Boolean variable, 1 bit of memory will be allocated, and in that Boolean variable, you will be able to store either true or false. Then byte. So when you are creating a byte variable, 1 byte of memory will be allocated to store a value of minimum minus 128, maximum 127. That is the range of the byte. You cannot store a value which is greater than 127. And short. When you are creating a short variable, only 2 bytes of memory will be allocated, and in short, it is equal to a integer of C++. So you will be able to store a minimum of minus 32,768 to the maximum 32,767. Then integer in Java, integer is 4 bytes. So when you are creating a variable of integer type, 4 bytes of memory will be allocated to store a minimum value that is mentioned here, and the maximum value is here. And float. The float is 4 bytes, and it is used to store a single precision decimal value. And long, so you will be able to store long is a 8 bytes in Java, and double precision decimal point. Only float and double you will be able to store a decimal point value. By default, all decimal values are double in Java. So these are all the data types available in Java. Let us understand how to create a variable practically. So here in this program, I have created 8 type of variables. First, I have created a Boolean variable. So when we are creating a variable, we have to mention the type of data that we are going to store, and we have to mention the name of the memory. I have named as B. This is an identifier. Identifiers are nothing but just a name given by the user. We can say the name of the class, object, variables, and array names, methods, or identifiers. So I'm storing a value of true inside the memory B. So when this line is executed by the compiler in memory, this is what will happen: Boolean B. So when that line is executed, 1 bit of memory will be allocated, and that memory will be named as B, and you can store only a Boolean type of data into the memory. And as we have given the true will be the value that is stored inside the memory. When the second line is executed, byte by is the name of the memory, and you are storing a 30. This is called as a initialization. So that we are declaring a variable as well as initializing the value. So in memory, what will happen? First, 1 byte of memory will be allocated, and the name of the memory is by, and you will be able to store only the byte that is range between -127 to 128. So the value you are storing is 30. When the third line is executed, a character, and you are storing value h. So here 2 bytes will be allocated. In character is 2 bytes, and here ch and char. And I forgot to mention the character in the primitive data type. So character is 2 bytes, and h will be stored in the value. In C++, character is only 1 byte. In Java, it is 2 bytes, as Java supports Unicode, and then short, which is equal to integer in C++. So when we are creating a short variable, 2 bytes of memory will be allocated. That the name is named as name of the memory is yes, and you will be able to store only the range between what is supported by the short and 1000. Then in the next line, simultaneously integer, you are storing, you are creating a variable I, and pi 3.14 f. So when integer, you are creating 4 bytes of memory will be allocated. The name is I and the integer. Then 2000 will be stored. When you are creating a float variable, pi 3.14 f. So the f, what is the reason I have given this f? As I said, by default, all the decimal point value is a double in Java. So when you want to, if you are without giving the f, Java compiler will give you an error, because a value double cannot be stored in float, type mismatch, because we are trying to store a decimal value that is double to float. The float is only 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes. So here we are trying to store a 8 bytes of value to a 4 bytes of memory. So that is not possible. So you have to mention that f. So whenever you want to initialize a floating point variable, you have to mention the f followed by the value. So now in memory there will be no f, just 4 bytes will be allocated, and that is pi and float, and 3.14 will be stored. When you are printing it, you will not get that f. So long, so long is 8 bytes of memory, and you are storing the value of 3000 to a memory l. So 3000 is stored. And finally, the double variable, double precision decimal point value that you are storing, 8 bytes of memory will be allocated in memory. That memory name is d, and you can store a double value inside this memory, and the value is stored inside d is 2.45067. Then finally I am printing. So system.out.println, I am printing the b. Now the compiler will check for the memory b. Now b is here, the value in b is true, so true will be printed instead of b here. And by, now the compiler will encounter what is this by, and it will check the memory. The by, the value is 30, so 30 will be printed, and ch, it will go to the memory, and ch and h will be printed. So this is how it will happen for remaining lines. And let me execute this program to get the output. Java application. So true 30 h 1000 2000 3.143. So whatever we are mentioning inside the double quote, it will be printed as it is. So when we are using the variable name, that is, the value will be printed. So I hope you understand what is a data type and how to create a variable. So if you want to change the value of any variable, you can mention. If you want to change the value of a variable I, now I is equal to 2000 can be replaced with 2500. Now the equal is an assignment operator, so the right hand side value will be stored to assigned to the left hand side memory location. So now I is a variable is a named memory location. Now the compiler will check for the memory I, which is here. Now I will be, now I, the old value of I is 2000, and the new value is 2500. So the 2500 will be put into the memory I. So previously it was 2000, and now it will be changed to 2500. Now when you are printing that I, now I is holding the value of 2500. So here in the previous output, the integer value is 2000, Now you will have 2500. So exactly. Okay, hope you understand what is a variable. So thank you for watching.